The alt-right exists because the 14 words are necessary. The alt-right exists to take us from here to there. The alt-right exists because it is time. We were indeed born too late to explore the Earth, and too early to explore the galaxy. But just in time to secure the existence of our people and a future for white children.
Hello, everybody. Today is a very important Friday. Yeah, I know a bunch of people are in the are in Discord right now talking about stuff, but a lot of important, crazy things going on today. I'm sorry that this is so late. I had to get a trim. You know, I know how you guys are. You guys hold me to a high standard when it comes to the hair. Hi, Brienne. A lot of crazy stuff going on. Crazy stuff. Yeah, I told you guys I make content. I'll make a content every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's just, you know, it's difficult. Like on Thursdays when I come back, I just end up sitting on my computer. And then when you get hit with, you know, these lights on the computer, it's like impossible to go to sleep. So I didn't go to sleep till like 5 a.m. And then got up really late. Yeah, a lot to talk about though, a lot to digest. World War III is on the horizon. I have flat feet, so hopefully, you know, flat feet, asthma. I have like arthritis in one of my knees, so you know, live from the bunker. Yeah, King James live. Yep. Alex Jones is done with Trump, rightfully so. Is he really? I don't really keep up with him. There is no reason. Okay, guys. So obviously, I titled this a certain way. Let's talk about World War III. Let's talk about it. I'm basically, when it comes to these foreign things, I side with George Washington, who was an isolationist. He didn't want to get into these wars. There's always going to be a lot of idiots all the time doing stupid stuff, and I don't want to get in. I don't, you know, it's like, look, this is my house. You know, we'll trade with you, but I'm not. If you want to go fight the other neighbors across the street because their dog took a shit in your lawn, you know, my kids aren't going to go fight in your little war because that guy's neighbors, because your neighbor's dog took a shit in your lawn. Like, I'm not going to get into that. I've always sided with George Washington on that fact that he didn't want to get into wars with anyone. You know, it wasn't until we got into these big world wars, World War One, because of J.P. Morgan. You know, we had to get in there because of the economy, right? The power of the dollar matters more than the lives of your own people, right? If it helps the economy, throw your kids out there, right? Throw them in the meat grinder, you know. Hopefully they only lose a leg, you know. Alcohol in here. Israel's getting us into wars. I did hear that apparently Israel basically started this conflict where I think Israel fired on Syria or something like that, and then Russia came and we almost got into a war on the spot, and Russia thought we were the ones doing it, and then they went there and it was actually Israel. Something like that. They're keeping really quiet. I don't know the details, but basically Israel started it, and then everything, you know, de-escalated really quick when everyone found out like what was going on. And I've heard of like the Greater Israel Project, things like that, and you know, they say that they want to make Israel stronger. Basically, Israel wants to take over the entire Middle East, and they're using us as a puppet to do it. I don't know too much about that kind of stuff. The Crypto Report, welcome back. It was sad to see you leave the Discord. By the way, on Sundays, I'm going to try to do an open show. We did it last Sunday, where we did like a little, we'll have people come on. It's like a Google Hangout if you're interested to come on this Sunday. Yeah, you know, the good thing is, it's like, yeah, Trump is firing missiles. That's a bad thing. You know, France and the UK are jumping in. Isn't it so funny that if they really wanted to, they can end the entire, like if they really wanted to, they could just blow away Syria right now. But when it comes to their own internal problems, like they have so much military power, but when it comes to their own internal problems, no power whatsoever. It's impossible to solve the problems that they've caused internally. But when it comes to just wiping out another country, it's just so simple. I don't understand that. Like, people keep quoting the Bible, saying that they'll quote the Bible and saying, oh, like, because I've seen it. And they'll say, oh, something Zechariah says, if you're an enemy of Israel, you're an enemy of God, and all these things. But wait a second. I thought Jesus said that the Jews were not really following the path that they were supposed to follow, and that's why he kind of came down there and he was like, you guys are greedy, you guys are making money off God, you're not supposed to be doing that, you guys are supposed to be giving more, rather you guys are instead taking. And not only that, but if they're Jews, that means they never took Jesus into their hearts. They don't see him as their savior, so I don't, like, Jews would technically be heretics. Like, they wouldn't, like, according to Christianity, they'd be going to hell because they don't. That's the main thing, right? Is you gotta believe in Jesus, you gotta believe he was the Son of God, and you have to believe that he's your savior. So if you're Jewish, you know, you're just level 1, you're not level 2. So I don't see why people keep thinking that, you know, the Jews are anything. People keep bringing that up. They'll bring up the banks. You obviously haven't cracked open the Bible at all. No, I haven't. My Beb 2005. I just know the particulars, but David Trump is getting us into the TPP. He's a globalist. At the end of the day, are you going to be pro-Russia, China, Iran, or pro-American Israel? That's a good question. Well, I think the way you have to look at it is like this. Do you think that the West, without war, do you think that we'll actually survive 200 years? Like, in 200 years, without any war, just going in the same direction we're going, how do you think the West is going to look in 200 years without war? And then what do you think would happen if, let's say, like, Russia and China took over? Which is going to happen anyways. I mean, China's taking over Africa. In a few hundred years, they're probably going to control most of everything. And then they're going to come for us, but then we're in debt, so then who knows? They're probably buying us out as we speak. So I think really the end game is China's going to win. I don't see how they would lose at any point. They're a very large, homogenous society that is very much a collective. They have a lot of money. They're probably the strongest country in the world, and we're in debt to them. They're buying out Africa. They're slowly expanding. They're slowly colonizing, so to speak. And it's a different way to take people over. It's not a typical, like, run in, kill and rape everybody, burn their flag, and replace it with yours. Like, it's not like a simple thing like that anymore. It's it's very much like, you see how, like, everyone knows, like, oh, well, we don't want to get into wars because everyone has nukes. So there's different kinds of wars. There's like Islam, they're lying and saying, oh, we got women and children and these things, and they're getting in Europe, and then you find out there is no women and children, it's all men. I actually did a report on that 2 years ago in a class of mine, and then I looked at the UN data, and the UN data actually said that, yeah, it was just mainly men, because a lot of the arguments in my class were about, it was an introduction, like, logic class, and they were like, oh, well, most of them are women and children. It was all bullshit. Now we got data coming out there confirming it. So you have one group, Islam, trying to take over via reproduction and political correctness. So anytime you call them out on anything, they just say you're racist. And then they slowly start to take over. They use taqiyya. Oh, that's not true. Not all Muslims. They'll blow someone up. And then we'll go, what the fuck? And oh, not all. And then we'll go, oh, okay, that's true. And then we just go in the cycle. They're telling, there's reports that they're telling their people to get in positions of power. They're out reproducing people. Out reproducing the West. And then you're seeing these large black gangs going on. you got these black gangs going on in there. We have the same kind of black gangs problem in the United States. We got like the MS-13. We have, caravans of people just swarming our nation. And so we want to add war on top of all that. We all know that. I know the MS-13 people like killing people, but I don't think that they're actually going to go and sign up to go kill Russians or Chinese or any of these people or Syrians. So I think what's going to happen is in the past, basically all the men, World War II, they went out to fight, and then all the women had no choice but they had to take over over in the workforce, right? But imagine if we sent all the men to go fight, and then we have because then it's like, I guess at that point we would have to just make all the DACA and all the illegals. We just have to make them citizens, and then ship them into the war. I guess that would be the only thing that makes sense. Otherwise, if we didn't do that, then it would be just like the women and then a bunch of like MS-13 and all of these people here and not only that, but I think I saw a report showing that like 70 to 80% of young people nowadays, they're not even physically capable of going into the military at all. I saw another report from like drill sergeants saying that because of the new kinds of people coming in, that they actually recommend for the first time ever to give the people coming in more time to basically get them physically and mentally in shape and disciplined, because of how weak-bodied and weak-minded people are nowadays, because mainly of the left. It's an ideology of take care of me, it's an ideology of babies. So of course the people, if you're like take care of me, of course you're gonna be mentally weak and physically weak. So I have no idea what would go on. We still have some generations of older folk. You got some, of course, the boomers. They'll cause the wars, they'll start the wars, but they're not gonna actually do anything. Like Bolton has been in there for 3 days. He's had a job for 3 days. This is a guy that everyone said, because I remember people were saying, look, McMaster, he needs to go, he's a globalist, blah 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 blah. A lot of conservatives were like totally okay with Bolton going in, and then I got hit with people saying no, he's bad, that guy is a warmonger, it's not good. He gets in there, I think wasn't it like his first day, all of a sudden I think on his first day the whole Syria gas thing is what happened, and then now today's his third day and now we're actually bombing. So Bolton has been here for 3 days, and then within his first day, the chemical thing happened, and the third day, now we're literally bombing Syria now. Guys, it's a lot to take in. How do you not connect that dot, though? This guy, everyone says he's going to start a war, and everyone's kind of like, we were kind of, oh, yeah, he's going to start a war, right? But no one really knew what. And then immediately, day one, the chemical thing happened again. Samantha Reed, David, did you know that Trump is getting us into TPP? Is that the trans? What was that? What's that called? Like something? It's a trade deal, right? I don't know everything. I've heard that he said TPP is bad. He was saying, but he was open to hearing. He was open to he's open to a better deal or something like that, as he always says. Trans-Pacific Partnership. Okay, there we go. I don't really know the specifics on that. Is that like our deal with... thank you guys. All you guys put it down. Is that our deal with like China when it comes to like trade, basically? Transgender People Party. Oh, okay. I think King James Live got it down. By the way, if you guys are new, please sub. I'm trying to reach 10K. And, I might not be here in the next few months, or we won't, right? Us Americans. TPP is like the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. Well, I mean, that sounds like a good deal, but obviously we know that there is no free trade going on. If there was free trade going on, there wouldn't be any tariffs going happening, right? There wouldn't be any tariffs by China or these places. There wouldn't be anything like that. It would be we import our stuff. Maybe we give you like a small percentage for allowing us. Well, nah, it wouldn't even be that, because then it's like, okay, look, we'll send you our goods, and then you take ours, and then whatever we make, we keep, and whatever you make, you keep, kind of thing. NAFTA is like the European Union. Look, guys, if you guys are capitalists, if you guys are right wing, you have to be against these kinds of things, because it's kind of like regulations, right? It's like that's what I would think that whole NAFTA sounds like. It's just, even in the EU, it's just a bunch of groups trying to team up against, like, the EU was Europe's way of like fighting against the United States and our economy, trying to compete against us. Obviously, you have different currencies, different kinds of people, different stuff. So all the differences completely is why the EU is a failure compared to United States. But yeah, I've always seen when you have the UN, when you have EU, and you have these groups of people, it just ends up with the biggest and strongest to start bullying people. And then other people that aren't as strong go around trying to be deceitful, and they try to puppetize the big strong ones. So I don't like the idea of it. I like going back in time where, people just looked out for them, for their own countries, their own towns, their own cities, their own nations. No more of this whole, like, let's be partners, and I don't like that whole thing. The EU, UN, it doesn't work out. It doesn't lead to good stuff. He didn't need to bomb anything. Yeah, I agree, guys. Guys, I'm 100% against bombing Syria. Mattis, who's one of his closest guys, his most respected general, even said that there was no proof that there was a chemical attack in the first time. I actually, during the first strike, I actually kind of supported it, but at the same time, I was a different person, ideology-wise. That was a while back too, but there was no evidence of that happening. We do know that the UN, they got like the blue, what was it? The white helmets go around. We've seen the videos where they fake stuff. And it's just crazy when this stuff happens. People know of the white helmets. They know about these things. I mean, if they were to do a little bit of research, I have a few stuff saved where Mattis says there's no evidence of the first time. I mean, look at the whole Middle Eastern war was all fake, right? There was no weapons of mass destruction. There was none of this stuff, It's just all lies. Like, everyone knows there's no weapons of mass destruction. So the government straight up lied to you. They lied to you about us getting into a war, I believe that 9/11 was an inside job. Obviously, that was done by the Saudis. Did we ever get into war with them? Of course not, because they have money and they're probably paying off our politicians. Pearl Harbor, I've heard reports that we knew, obviously, that a huge crowd, like during World War II, of a fleet of Japanese were flying at us. I mean, how do we not? It was like World War II era. Of course, of course we were alert. We knew that was coming. It all starts with what was it? It was in Spain. It was a boat that got sunk, and then everyone wanted to go to war, and then the government was like, what the fuck, we don't want to go to war. But they understood when that happened. I forget what that boat's called. But ever since then, they always knew that as long as we get hit first, we can fight. But I think people are starting to get a little bit smarter now. It's taken a long time, but people are starting to figure this stuff out about the false flags, right? There's weapons of mass destruction bidding in the Syria case by Saddam Hussein. Remember the Maine. There you go. No Lives Matter. I respect you, man. No Lives Matter. Remember the Maine. Woe with Spain. Oh, that's really good. ever since the Maine, the government knew that, hey, all we gotta do is get hit first, and we can do whatever we want, right? And then World War II got us out of the Depression, so they're like, hey, war, it makes our country stronger. It's better for the dollar. The better the dollar, and then people started turning into warmongers. So we went from this isolationist country where we will just deal to everyone, which is what George Washington wanted the country to move in that direction, to a country of a bunch of like warmongers who just want to drop bombs on whatever sandcastles they feel like it, and then they'll go and put people in positions of power that actually want to kill us. Assad doesn't want to kill us. He's not bombing us. Are there Syrians going all Akbar anywhere? No, but he wants to basically. But the right, or at least the neocons, rhinos, I don't know how the left stands on this. All I know is they're reporting on the far right's against anti-war, but they're not necessarily pro-war that I've seen. David, do you think America is finished? I personally think it is. I don't think America's finished, but I actually think because of the just demographics and things like that, and not only that, but then the youth and how they're basically pro-commie, anti-First Amendment, anti-Second. You look at the demographics and who is which kind of people support these things as well, and it's basically basically white people support all the values of this country, and then the people coming in do not. And we don't have any real way to stop them at the moment. We don't have a wall up. We're talking about putting the military down there, which is a good thing, but we still have not. It's like we have a boat and it has a hole in it and water's coming in, right? And people are like, oh well, water is just trying to escape from the ocean, and it has and it's just trying to lead a good life. And the more it does it, the more the boat sinks. And the closer we are, and if there's too many of them, we're going to drown. And then in the distance, we got a guy on our boat while we're sinking who's like throwing rocks at the other boat next door that doesn't have any holes. It's not sinking whatsoever. And our guy's throwing rocks at them. And so now they're close to, throwing rocks at us. So now we got the water coming in. We got rocks possibly going to get thrown at us. It's just a really bad situation. Like, I don't think we could there's no way, even if we were like the America of, that won the Cold War, I don't even know if that country could defeat China, Russia, whoever decides to team up with them as well. And we're talking about North Korea, they might jump in on that. Who knows? Like Iran, the other Middle Eastern power. I know. For instance, like Saudi Arabia and these places aren't going to suddenly, be really tight with us. Israel. People talk about them all the time, but they're just some small little state. And not only that, but they've been doing some scummy things lately. So, there's a high chance that they're just going to get blown away, right? They're the highest chance of getting blown away. The United States and Europe, in the next 50 years they might have, civil wars going on. Just look at South Africa. We know that when white people are in the minority, the other groups decide to pounce on them and try to get rid of all the pieces on the board, try to finish the deal, right? We're seeing what's going on when they're the majority. So, you want to add a war on top of that, but at the same I don't know. Basically what Israel is, it's a country that likes starting shit, basically, right? It loves starting shit. It loves throwing rocks at other people. And then you see these like super pro-Israel people, and they're basically saying, oh, they're our greatest ally, and basically they can do anything we want, and we'll back them no matter what. And at some point, it's kind of like, look, look, we like them and all that stuff, but if you're gonna be, getting drunk and throwing punches at people at the bar, if you think I'm gonna, back you up every single time, I'm not. If you go around and you're doing that, sooner or later, I'm just gonna just let you take a beating. And I'd say from like a philosophical standpoint, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you can go into, reasons why they act the way they act, but at the end of the day, they cause problems. And those problems create problems for us. And we don't want to be, we should not be friends and allies of someone that's going to be causing problems 24/7. Because this isn't just some like video game. This isn't just some like political thing. Oh, well, like, I have a friend and he's calling people cucks and he's punching right, but no one's getting killed, right? I mean, we're talking about young people, and people's children's lives are on the line, and we're talking about going like supporting some country that 99% of us will never ever go to. We'll never know anyone in that country, and we're supposed to go die for that country. Because they wanted to, they want to cause problems. So, I'm all for my friends and my allies and that kind of thing. But if you got to fight, if you start a fight, you got to go and finish it. I'll sit back, make sure that if you get knocked out, that they don't, finish the deal with you. But I'm not going to go 2-on-1 on some guy you punched first. That's my stance on it. Guys, if you guys really want the best things we can do right now, I guess, call the White House, as you guys say. Another one is get those videos of Tucker Carlson debating the rhinos, talking about the war stuff. Get all of that and just drop it in just Facebook groups. Just drop it everywhere you can. I mean, what Tucker Carlson said on the war stuff is the most important thing. It is the most important thing. And this is the best time to really start a conversation on this. This is the best time to really change the direction of the right, because the right used to be the party of the war, the Bushes, kinds of things, right? The interventionists and all that. But this is our opportunity to show, and it's showing. We have the Tommy Laurens, we have the Tucker Carlsons. You have the entire alt-right and the alt-right entirely united on the one thing. This is the one time that both groups have been united since the Trump election, is that we do not want war. We just want to focus on our country. We want to focus on our borders. We want to just focus on our country. No more wars. We didn't vote for Jeb Bush for a reason, right? If we won wars, we would have voted for Jeb Bush. He would have went in. They would have the globalists would have walked right in, put on his diaper. They'd sit him down, put the bob on his mouth, and he would just press a red button whenever they told him to, right? That's what would happen. But I don't look, guys. I also don't blame Trump 100%, because look, we know that Trump he's basically anti-war, but he has a lot of people in his ear, and he's got the Boltons in his ear now. He's got Kushner, and he's got a lot of people in his ear. And not only that, but he's a huge military guy. The one thing I have to say that Trump cucks on is the military. And a lot of military guys, they worship other military guys. Like, you look at Mattis and these people. I mean, they probably worship people like, George Patton, and who was a guy that loved war because he looked up to the great war people like Alexander the Great, and these people, these military geniuses of the past. So obviously, if you want to be, if you love great warriors, you probably want to get into a fight yourself to test your measure, right? You want to be what you worship. And so him being around so many military guys means that there's a good chance he's going to get into a war, because these guys want to get into a war, right? That's like, if you're a general, you want to, if you're a chess master, you want to play chess. If you're a general, you want to go to war. It's just natural. Not only that, but we have to understand that him being a right-wing person and very critical of Obama, he thinks, I believe, that the best thing to do in this situation is to do the opposite of Obama. So a lot of people, like especially in the alt-right, they think that whatever the left hates, that's what the answer is. So I mean, I see a lot of young people, and they don't really look into the things that the left hate. They just like, oh, if the left hates that, then it must be good, right? Like if they hate white straight males, then that means I should like them. Or if they hate capitalism, I should like that. But the number one thing they hate are like basically Nazis. So we should, go into that. And I've seen a lot of people just kind of like, they just dive into it. They're like, oh, well, if these bad guys hate this and they're saying that's bad, then it must be good then. And they kind of just jump on that. Frog nationalist. I didn't read all of it. I missed the last sentence. But yeah, I don't like, people are saying they're off the Trump train and all these things, but what's the alternative, guys? What's the alternative? Was it voting Ted Cruz the next time around? I mean, look, guys, if Hillary Clinton, if she had won, we would have already been in this war like probably 6 months ago. We would have been in this war 6 months ago. They'd probably be ripping down the fence. There'd be no border wall. They'd be ripping down whatever fence we have. They'd take in the whole caravan. They would have welcomed them. Like, they would have just like, hey, can we send cars out? We'll just build a railroad and just fucking, that would have happened. There would have increased the taxes. Basically, the whole country would turn into California. Yeah, look, guys. I'm not gonna jump off the Trump train, because it's like, where do you go then? And if you go nowhere, then, like if you jump off, like, look, you have to go after him. You have to be like, look, I support you, but what you're doing is stupid. If you jump off the Trump train, then you don't matter anymore. Like if you film yourself in a video burning up your Trump hat, that might be good propaganda and stuff like that. But for the most part, it doesn't really help. If you're off the train, you're off the train. The best thing we can do as supporters is every single time he does something bad, we have to be like, hey, we have to go loud, because I know he listens. I've had some people from his campaign, or a person, I should say to be exact, tell me that he actually knows of like, what we're doing here in California. I think even the Red Elephants, because when I had a buddy who got stabbed, and then basically one of Trump's guys came down, gave him a sticker that was signed and all of that, and then he was telling us that he was a social media guy, and he was talking to us about all that stuff. It's a weird situation we're in, guys. It really is, because I'm just hoping that it just turns into bombs, and then Russia's going to do something because Putin isn't a cuck. That's the thing about the Russians. They've always been a little weird, but they've always been tough. That's the main thing. These are the kinds of people that probably drink vodka straight, and they're used to like below zero levels. Like, just look at anyone that's ever tried to fight them in their own country. It never works, right? What happened to Napoleon? What happened to Hitler? You don't really fuck with the Russians. You never go in. If you sit back long enough, they'll implode. But you don't go in. What's wrong with straight vodka? I'm just saying it's a tough thing to do. You have to be a tough person. The Russians have always been tough. Shadows and Dust. From what I've heard too from Mike Enoch, he said on a podcast that he's talked to basically the alt-right people behind closed doors, and he was saying they all believe the same shit. So I think really the alt-right, it's basically the same thing. It's just people that have disagreements on optics and things like that. I think the only ones that actually believe like the civic nationalist stuff are, for the most part, just a bunch of lobby people. It's kind of like the actual Antifa are probably just paid off leftists, and they probably don't actually believe anything. They just get paid to like go to things and then beat people up, and then like I'll show up in LA to a small thing, and then you have like a small little group of like an actual real band of Antifa, but they're just watered down Antifa because they're not actually paid off and all of that. But the actual real Antifa, I think those guys are all just paid garbage. And then every now and then you get the wannabes. The only difference between alt-right and alt-right is acknowledging the JQ. I say there's two things. It's the race realism and the JQ. I would say are the things that are the main differences. But also, another difference would be the alt-right typically wants bigger government. They want an ethno-state. I mean, not everyone has different beliefs on, like, religion, economics, stuff like that. But for the most part, when you think about the beliefs of the alt-right, you kind of have to just go by whatever, Richard Spencer says. And he wants an ethno-state where everything's run by the government. I don't know to what degree. We'll just say it's a socialist country. I don't know his viewpoints on religion. I don't think he's a Christian. And I've heard he might be a pagan of some sorts. I don't know. But basically they want bigger government, whereas the alt-right, they want lower government. Oh. Yeah, I know most people don't really like Richard Spencer, but I mean, you have to base, like, if you're like, well, what are the alt-right beliefs? Basically, for the most part, they're like, I know, like, most of them are like former libertarians, but for the most part, they're just like authoritarians. They're like, they were libertarians, but now they're authoritarians because now they're more realistic instead of like, they basically broke out of a Disneyland. They're like, oh, well, this is a nice little like libertarian belief system, but let's be honest, it's not gonna be around if the demographics change too much. All hell Asian Andy. Yes, is Asian Andy in here again? If he is, I mean, I would love to watch his live stream. Him doing one more run around while he like looks up in the sky and we all see the bombs raining down. And then we'll all donate some fucked up shit. I don't smoke often, but marijuana helped me more. Well, look, as long as your brain is fully developed, do what you want. Like from what I've seen about marijuana, if your brain isn't developed, then it could change it. Is the problem. The Crypto Report. Yeah, Crypto Report was on here tonight. So it sucks that he left the Discord for whatever reason, but he came back in here, which is cool. Grab that chain link fence. I want to ask Stalking Horse. Let's talk about that for a sec, because I know where that comes from. It comes from Terminator 2, where Sarah Connor is having that dream where she gets blown away, right, with her children and all that at the playground. And she's holding onto the fence, getting blown away by like the radiation and the impact of the bomb being dropped like miles away. But what does that mean exactly? Does that mean like you should what does that mean, embracing the fence? Does that mean you should embrace your death and you're tough? Like, oh, you saw it to the very end, or and does that mean that if you don't embrace the fence, that means you're like a fucking pussy or something? Like if you try to run away and hide behind a wall, does that mean you're a pussy? Or I'm not really sure what that means. Fearmongers. I don't fearmonger. I never have. I mean, the only reason I'm even here is because the fears are real. Kind of like die with your boots on, I'd admit. Okay, so it's basically saying don't be a bitch. You're gonna die anyway, so might as well embrace it and take it. It's like would you want to be shot in the face or in the back of the head? I guess, right? Guess you're more of a man if you take it to the face rather than back of the head. Oh. Basic train, the drill sergeant literally tells us to curl into a ball. You mean like if a nuclear explosion goes off? Better to die on your feet than live on your knees. I can say my memory and general cognition improved since I stopped smoking every night. Yeah, well, that makes sense because marijuana does have temporary effects. So if you're doing it constantly, then those temporary effects aren't really going to go away. That's all I know. I don't know of anything about long-term damage. I know there's damage if your brain is developing and then you're doing something that changes your brain. How about telling kids going to school desks? Yeah, that'll save them. Yeah, I guess it's one of those things where it's like it won't save them, but I guess it increases the chances of them surviving. Well, it matters how far away the bomb's dropped, right? I think that's really the major question. If it's like dropped right on you, you're gone. You're gone. Unless you're like, I don't know, 60 miles underground or something, but it's so they don't panic. Well, I guess it's like I guess they feel more comfortable because they feel like there's a chance, there's a higher chance of survive or something. Desk would maybe protect them from ceiling collapsing. I don't know. It matters how far away the bomb's dropped. If it's like from the Terminator 2 scene that we're talking about, grab the fence, the bomb was dropped like it was like in a city, and they were like she could see it far away drop, and it still reached her, and she got like melted. Buzzy 181, $10. Thank you, sir. David, did Trump just screw us? No, I wouldn't say he did. I think what's going on is he has people in his ears. He has the Boltons, and he has like Kushner's, and he has
David, did Trump just screwed us?
He has these people that are telling him like, hey, look, Obama, he told them that there was a red line, and they crossed it, right? And do you want to be like Obama? I mean, your base is going to hate that. You're going to act like Obama if they do something and you don't do anything in return. And I think that's what's going on in his head. He's like, oh, whatever, the opposite of Obama means good, right? Because everything Obama did was bad. And I think in his head, that's why he's like, oh, well, he bombed them the first time because he doesn't really want war. He doesn't want all that war. I mean, Trump is not an idiot. He doesn't want to, we just started the trade war with China. We don't want to start an actual war now. He's always been kind of like an isolationist. And I think another problem is you have these people coming in with credentials saying, oh, we know better than you. Like, you may say that you never wanted to get into a war with Syria, but you don't know what we know, and you don't know, you didn't know back then. Like, you had that opinion back then when you had no information, and now you're president and you're getting this information. Who knows what kind of lies they're giving them too, on top of whatever information supposedly. But yeah, I think he's got people that are the generals. He cucks the generals, and they're going around and they're saying, look, we got credentials, we know what's up. People are saying, look, Obama, didn't go after them. Are you gonna be like Obama? And he's like, I am gonna be like Obama. I think he'll drop some bombs. I don't think he'll put any soldiers on the ground. I think we might get these faraway battles right now between, I don't know, maybe planes and ships, things like that. But I don't think there'll ever be actual, like, I don't think there'll be a draft. I don't think he'll go into World War III. I think Trump will cuck before Putin does. So if Putin goes hard on Trump, I think Trump will back down. Even if people are in his ear saying, yeah, like, hey, we got to kill them, we got to, like, do what we have to do, I don't think Trump will ever go in that far. But I think what's going to happen is Russia and Putin aren't cucks. They're going to flex. I think it's going to be in a military way. I don't think that they're going to do any sanctions or anything like that. I think they're going to do some sort of attack. I think it's going to be a military strike of some sorts, probably on a I don't think they're going to attack any of our embassies or anything, but I think they're going to, whatever we put on the ground there, I think they're going to blow up some stuff. Not really sure, but yeah, I think Russia, they're not cucks. Like, if Trump thinks he can just do this peace through strength thing with Russia, that's not going to happen with Putin. Putin isn't North Korea. He actually has bombs. They actually have actual weapons. They're basically, I think they took over Ukraine, so their soldiers are very used to getting into battles. Please pray for the common sense folks that are left. Well, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know. This is the this is the World War III party right here, guys. World War III party. We'll see if we're even here tomorrow. Drink them if you got them, guys. This is the one time to do it. Drink them if you got them. Kiss your wife. Be good to your children. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I do think, though, if we hadn't gotten into this situation, and if we just kept on this track, if we keep on the track that we're on right now, I think it might even be worse than any sort of war that happens. And ever since but since everyone has David, I'm broke now, Bible super chat soon. You guys don't have to super chat. Save those bottles. I would, but you know what? They don't recycle anything. I saw a report show that most of the recycling doesn't even get recycled. So, but I'm actually very liberal in a lot of ways. So it's something you guys might not know. Like, when it comes to, if we're still here, and years later, white elephants nationalism now. Good fucking luck. I mean, look, the only thing we can do is we go out there, we spread the message, get as many people as we can, and then we have to collectivize and then push what we need to push. That's what we need to do. The problem is, you got too many fucking individuals out there. It's like, I'm an individual. Yeah, whatever. But you voted for a party, and you had like, I don't know, what do we have? How many people vote for Trump? It was like, what, 60 million or something? So we had like 60 million like individuals all vote one way, you know. That's the thing that gets me. It's like, look, you can be your own person, you could do all that, whatever, but you know, you're part of a group. You know, you're part of a nation, you're part of a race, you're part of a gender, you're part of a, you know, political affiliation. You're part of all these fucking groups, and you can say, yeah, I'm an individual at the end of the day, but you know, if you've ever played a sport before, you know that if you want to win, you have to be a team, right? Teamwork. And if the other team is just doing whatever the fuck they want, they're not gonna win. If it's a team versus a group of individuals, the team will always win. I don't know why that's such a crazy thing to say. I don't know why. The White Elephants Tucker Carlson videos with whom to look up and share. Okay, see, the videos I saw were chopped up on Twitter. You could probably go on Twitter and then probably go on the advanced search and type in like Tucker Carlson, I don't know, anti-war, see if the videos pop up, and then see if you can like copy. So then from there you would copy the link to that, and then go into Facebook groups, whatever you have, drop it in there, and then say something. Say like, I'm against war with, you know, Syria. There was that clip of Tucker Carlson talking to that Republican senator, and he said, "Why would we get into war with Syria? How is that an interest of America? How is that going to help us?" And then the Republican senator said, "Oh, well, if you care about Israel." So if you want to red pill people on Israel right now is the time. Right now is the time. This is the best chance right now we could become the side that is anti-war, right? Because most people think it was the leftists and the hippies and these people. Buzzy 181 $5.
Why would Trump risk WW3 over 40 dead Syrians?
Thank you for the 5. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it doesn't really make sense, right? But you know, this is America, so we die over stupid things. You know, what was the Civil War? I mean, I've seen some people say that that only 3% of the population actually owned slaves. So whenever people try to say, "Oh, we got into a war, the Civil War was about slaves," and it's just like we had like 600,000 people get killed over a smaller population of people, and none of them are even related or even look the same. Just stupid stuff, you know. That's what America's all about. It's about stupid stuff, trying to unite people with differences rather than similarities. That's what the country's turned into, right? Diversity is our strength. But somehow we believe, even though we're like fucking imploding internally slowly, we think that we can take on countries that are actually like strong, like China or Russia, who are actually homogenous countries. And not only that, but China is still playing chess. You know, they're playing chess. Whereas us, we're like saying, "Oh, it's mean if we move the pieces in certain directions." So we're completely limited. I heard someone said that China could very well have spies here, but we can't do anything because what are you going to do? Are you going to tell someone, "Oh, look, we need to kick out all the Chinese, or should we kick out all the Koreans?" Like, people can drop whatever spies they want in this country, and we have no way of protecting ourselves from them because basically the left is protecting our enemies. That was the reason why in World War II we had to put the Japanese in internment camps. And it wasn't because we're racist or we're evil or any of that. It was because we wanted to win the war and we didn't want to put Americans' lives in danger by any chance. Not even like a 0.1 chance. So we put all of them in internment camps. And then when the war was over, they all got out. The point was they understood priorities, right? It's like, yes, we're putting you guys in jail. And yes, most of you guys are innocent and all that, but we can't take any chances. You know, it's like there's a chance you might have gotten bit by a zombie, so we're not going to let you sleep with everyone because then you might turn into a zombie, no matter how low the chance, and then you might eat people. So we don't want that. But nowadays they can be Russian spies, you know, they could be anybody, because what are you gonna do? How are you gonna discriminate? I mean, if you say anything, you're discriminating against them, right? So we have no way of fighting that. They could just send the spies here and they could do anything they want, because if you call them something, they'll say, "What, are you racist? What do you mean?" Oh,
Kick out the chongers.
thank you, No Lives Matter, for the 5. I don't know what a chonger is. I don't know if that's good or bad, but the left says they love the black communities, but then they flood them with illegals. Yeah, well, yeah, and then if you look into it, a lot of these, like, you know, a lot of these gangs are actually killing them. I mean, it's a sad thing to say. But I know there was a lot of areas that used to be considered black. Like, you can watch videos on this that they've even admitted. They're like, oh, this neighborhood like 10 years ago was all black, and then, you know, and now it's just mainly Hispanic, and then there was a black guy being interviewed, and he was like, oh, and that's not a bad thing or anything, you know, I'm just saying that it was like really fast and how things have changed so quickly. And yeah, I mean, basically, if you're gonna bring in these people, I mean, they're, you know, their IQs are very close, and they're similar to black people on average. So for the most part, they're going to be competing for the same jobs, living in the same areas, because IQs are very basically equivalent to like wealth. So they're like in the same. They're always going to be like right there next to each other competing. And so, I mean, they talk about whites. I mean, yeah, whites are, you know, they're competing with Hispanics more so than blacks, but they're there. But Hispanics, they're, you know, are competing with blacks more so. And for blacks, their main competition is Hispanics, not necessarily whites. They keep talking about whitey all day, but for the most part, it's mainly Hispanics, but it doesn't fit the agenda. You know, you can't be having punching left going on. They take resources from black Americans. Yeah, I mean, got illegals coming in, taking jobs from them. They'll do the work for cheaper. That's what they do. That's why when you look at a lot of affirmative action, like government jobs, you see it's mainly black people in charge of those, because, you know, they get hired in. The affirmative action just means hire black people. Are you Hispanic, David? I'm half. Sorry, it kind of burns a little bit. No. Well, I don't know. Like, according to my ancestry, I'm 75% European. I'm 8% Filipino, and I am 16% Native American. But when you look into the Native American, it says like Chihuahua. It says like, I don't know, like Emily was saying that the tribe or whatever it's from might be located in South America, so then that would be considered Hispanic, but I don't know. I just go as, if people ask me, I just say Native American, but I do have many in my family that are Hispanics, very much. We have a lot of Hispanics on my mom's side of the family. My dad's side, they're all white Irish guys. But on my mom's side, and this is the side that I've basically known my entire life, a lot of them are Hispanic. My mom, my grandma, and then past that, they all speak Spanish. They all speak Spanish. For a long time, I thought I had no idea what I was growing up, because my dad has blonde hair, blue eyes, and then my mom's been very ambiguous. You're entitled to 16% of a casino. Yeah, you know, I take it. I'll invite you guys over. We'll, you know, we'll drink and stuff. If people ask, though, I don't say I'm Hispanic. I just say I have Native American. Because my mom's, one of my aunts actually looks straight up like an Indian. She looks very much so. But my see, on my mom's side, my mom, her brother, and her sister all look completely different. Like, my mom looks basically like white, but like kind of brown white. And then, but like kind of like Mediterranean, basically. She even had a doctor say that her blood somehow resembles that of Mediterranean people. So she, you know, David, I thought you were a Jew. I'm not Jewish in ethnicity or religion, but apparently we looked up my last name, and my last name does have a Jewish background. It means like goldsmith or something. Yeah, it was weird. So my last name is Jewish, but I'm not Jewish in any other way. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, yeah, my mom basically looks like white, and then her sister looks straight up Indian, and then her brother looks Asian. He even has like the kind of Asian kind of haircut, and yeah, he looks like an Asian guy. So it's really weird how that works. Yeah, I remember National Geographic came out with this thing showing there was this family, and I don't know what they were like. I don't know what the wife or dad was, but one was white and one was black. They had twins, and then one came out looking white and the other one came out looking black. And so I do have to say, in some ways, race is very much a weird thing. For the most part, though, you know, when you have relationships like that, the kid just comes out looking black, and and because if he looks black, he identifies as black. Like, when you look at Obama, you don't see, like, oh, that's half a white guy right there. You're like, nah. Like, if you saw him at a distance, you say, oh, that's a black guy. That's how that works, right? It's not fair. It's not 50-50, really. Maybe sometimes 50-50, but for the most part, it's usually, like, 100% one way. Alt-right might kick me out because my last name is German, but sometimes. I don't know. Look, you know what my last name is, so I'm, you know, they very much go after me whenever I even talk about anything that might not fix the cause or whatever. But I have my own thing, you know. I have my own, I'm part of my own section. How many people are watching, guys? I have my phone charging, and I guess I could check on YouTube, right? Just nice to know. 17 watching. That's good stuff. 17 of us. We're all gonna... I don't know. Hey, can I ask you guys a question? Are you guys... is anyone... Because I know not everyone's an American here. But to the people who are American... Are you guys actually gonna? What are your guys' plans? Like if a war breaks out, you don't want to be that guy that's running to the store when everyone else is. Like, you don't want to be that guy that's getting on the freeway, driving over to wherever, you know, when everyone else is. So, like, what are you guys' plans? Are any of you guys like gonna go buy extra cans of food and start storing water and that kind of things? Because I know with 2012, I was one of those people that thought something was going to happen. I put a lot of research into it, and I thought something was going to happen. I thought something was going to happen. So I do have some stuff myself, but nothing that'll last me like past, 2 weeks. I'm working right now. Grandmaster Clave, welcome. I'm working right now at a grocery store. Awesome. That's a good job. Protection, water, then food. Yeah, I'd say get a bunch of canned food. It's like, yeah, it has a lot of sodium and garbage in it, but, I mean, you need food that has a lot of calories in it. Like, I'd say buy a bunch of canned food, buy a water purifier, because then you can just find water. And then, you need a gun. Those are the most important things. Gun, food, and water. And then you need to find a place to stay. And then also you need a waifu to put inside that place to stay. Otherwise you'll go insane. So those are the things you need: a gun, water, food, a shelter, and a waifu to repopulate. So that's the list. A block of that has 10,000. I actually have some MREs. Actually, I've never used them or tried them or anything like that, but I do have some MREs. David, how close are we to World War III? What's a waifu? I'm sure people in the chat will let you know. How close are we to World War III? Are you gonna get a hit? Are you gonna get hitched to Emily before the Satan 2 missiles get here? If a war breaks out, I don't know. I'll probably go take her down to the closest church and get married. Probably. I don't know. I already got her a ring for as a gift for, I think it was her birthday or something along those lines, or maybe it was Christmas. I forget. I like buying her stuff though. But are we getting close to World War III? I don't know. I know Russia isn't gonna. They're not gonna cuck. They're not gonna. They're gonna, when they say like don't cross our red line, and we did cross a red line. I know they're gonna retaliate. I have a feeling it's gonna be with armed force, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll get hit with a cyber attack. Maybe they have spies here and they go and they blow something up in America and then they leave like a Russian flag somewhere. I mean, it could be anything. It could be anything. Who knows? Family structure is America's top problem. Yeah, bastards is the country's top problem, I think. Studies show that a bastard has a higher chance of committing crime. That's why, for the most part, when it comes to abortion, I say, look, usually abortion means the father's not going to be around. If the father's not going to be around, that means you're going to have a bastard. And if you're going to have a bastard, there's a high chance that kid's going to go to crime. And I don't know about you guys, but I want criminals dead. I don't want them alive. I don't want them even in jail, because if they're in jail, they're eating and they're shitting and they're cleaning themselves and they're laying down in beds based off our money. If you lived on an island and someone killed someone else on the island, you would just, what are you going to do? You're going to build some little jail and you're going to keep him there and then he gets a portion of your food every single day? No, you would just take a rock to his head. It's the problem with first world countries, that people just kind of forget how third world countries are. They don't understand how they're run, and because of it, they think in these weird, like, rationalist ways. You'll see people stand around though, they have a rational debate about something, but it's like, look, I get what you're saying, but when you're in a situation, your mind isn't human anymore. It's like animal. You're in like a fight or flight mode. And not only that, but like when you're in a serious situation, like all you're thinking about is like either fight or flight, and then and that's what you have to realize. Like, you could stand here and we could have a conversation about whatever, like how bad it is to do violence to another human being, but if you're in this situation, someone kicks down your damn door and you go and instead of flight you go into fight, and then you just kind of wake up and then someone's face looks like spaghetti, spaghetti. A whole different story. Man, I don't even know how we got to talking about abortion. Isn't that something? I mean, is abortion murder? For the most part, yeah, I would say yes, it is. But do we eat food, which means we have to kill stuff? Yes. Is killing stuff bad? I mean, I don't want to kill stuff, but if you don't, like, if the wolf stopped eating the rabbit, then the rabbit would eat all of the forest. And if they ate all the forest, then the rabbit would die anyways. There's an ecosystem. There's a circle of life, as they said in Lion King, for any of you guys that have actually watched the movie and actually learned. We don't eat babies, though. That's true, but we still kill them. You know, we're all just living beings. We all have sense. We all have senses. We all feel pain, and you know, and that's what it is. You know, you can't be, oh, I'm against murder, but fuck, throw some steak on my plate. Yeah, I mean, the difference is obviously species. You'd say, oh, well, my feelings toward my own species is different, or you know, that kind of stuff. I'm not like a vegan, by the way. I'm just saying that, like, technically, when they talk about morality and ethics of, like, you know, veganism, technically, like, they're not wrong. And I like using that argument too when people are like, oh, well, you know, it's so bad to, you know, I don't know, they always, killing people is so bad. Oh, we should never do it. We should, like, appease to our enemies. And it's like, didn't you eat a cheeseburger yesterday? Come on. You think a lion contemplates eating a zebra? Yeah, I think it plans. You know, you look at the lions and stuff like that, and they had to prey on them, they had to stalk them, they had to, like, you know, creep in, to, like, kind of wait out, like, can I catch them? And there's a lot of planning going on. But watch Naked and Afraid. When you're in an actual situation and you're hungry, all of a sudden morality and ethics go right out the window. So when people are talking about these things, these morals and ethics are only there when you live in a nice, cozy, you know, you live in a nice, cozy, warm place where you have food coming in, and you never get your hands dirty. And in those societies, you could stand here and you could talk about these things. But when you're in a third world country, or, you know, you're living by yourself in the wilderness, and you got to do what you got to do, all of a sudden those ethics and morals in these things, they don't really matter anymore. I would say if anyone ever tried to do late term abortions, I would say that should be criminal. White patriot, welcome. Uh, yeah, but I would say late term, like, abortion's a weird thing because I see both sides. So I guess I'd say I'm in the middle kind of thing. I would say yes, is it murder? Yeah, if it was late term abortion, I think you should put the doctors in jail for that. Like, ripping apart like, just have the baby already. You know, if it's even 6 months in, just have the baby already. Have the baby, go down to, like, the fire department, drop the baby off, and you can bounce, and that's it. Of course, those kids do lead bad lives though. Like, if you, like, every single story of a kid going into, like, the foster care center and all, it always sounds like a horrific story. Just a bunch of, like, kids getting bullied, like, fighting going on. It is bad, but I think if it's already, like, there, might as well just have it and then just drop it off somewhere if you don't want it. But you know, bastards create more crime, and I don't like criminals. And not only that, but then even if you outlawed it, women would do it anyways. They were doing it in the past, and a lot of women were dying trying to, you know, put what was it? They get, like, a coat hanger and they try to do it themselves, and some women die of internal bleeding, things like that. So they're gonna do it anyways. You can't stop them, right? I mean, that's our whole argument on guns. Is even if you get rid of the guns, you're just gonna increase crime and create more problems. Even if you were to outlaw it, there's no way to enforce it, and women are gonna continue to try to do it. Some of them will die in the process, and if we outlaw it, then more women are gonna have bastards, and more bastards create more problems in society. And you know, and they're going to turn to criminals for the most part, and that's what we're seeing a lot in the black communities. And I don't want criminals alive. I want them dead, and I don't want them killing people. I mean, we could save lives that way. I mean, if it was outlawed and everyone was just having bastards, you know how many people would not be alive today? Yeah, I'm not like, yeah, black babies get adopted too. Yeah, I mean they get adopted. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like according to stats, a lot of them, well, not even like blacks, just like bastards in general tend to go to crime because they don't have. If you don't have a great beginning, you're gonna have a bad end. And if you're a bastard, then you're not being raised. There was a study I saw where I think in an actual like just like man and woman marriage or relationship, and they had a kid. They said that if the woman is working, there's a high chance it's linked. If the mom is out working instead of at home, then there's a high chance that the kid will actually have mental illness, and that's not even connected to the mom's working, and the dad's not even around. So the kid isn't getting the dad. He's getting a percentage of the mom, but the mom is like busy working, and when she gets back, she's probably tired. So you're getting like no parenting whatsoever. And then whatever parenting you get, it comes from like other kids. And if you run into the wrong crowd, then you get arrested for something serious, and then you go to jail, and then it's just this circle of really terrible stuff. Welfare solution: 20,000 cash for women and men to get sterilized fixed. Well, I don't know. I mean, because if we had an overpopulation, I would say, well, that'd be a good idea. Maybe even in certain areas like cities where it's way too overpopulated, way too many people, I would say, yeah. I mean, if the government wanted to say, look, we'll drop you $20,000 if you come in and get fixed, that's fine. If you want to go ahead and do it, as long as no one's putting a gun in your head. If you want to go fix yourself, that's fine. David, is this the beginning of the end? I think the biggest problem for the West is not Russia. It's not China. I actually think if we got taken over by them, I think it would actually be a good thing. If you look at what's going on in Russia and China, I mean, China's not letting in they're not letting in the Africans and those people into their country. I mean, they said that if we let them in, they're going to affect our demographics and our homogenous society. It's why there's such a high trust in our society, things like that. And they're like, why would we do something like that? It's stupid. They have that mindset of our ancestors in the past where they understood how reality worked. They're outlawing degenerate things. I think they made hip hop like illegal and things like that. And there's a lot of disgusting things in hip hop nowadays and rap. Just nothing. If you watch a music video, it's just nothing but like a bunch of low IQ guys with gold teeth. Grinding on chicks and then drinking beer and doing drugs, and then if you look in Russia, I mean, look at its leader Putin. Like, he has this like very strict workout plan. He like swims, he does judo. The feminists and the Antifa are getting tortured in their country. You see, here we're the ones getting attacked and tortured, and getting bombs thrown at us, getting piss thrown at us, getting like bloody tampons thrown at us. People they're slashing our tires, they're censoring us online. We're the ones getting fucked up here. But in Russia, the left are the ones getting fucked up. The propaganda, it's being thrown against them. Actually, they have like groups of young people, are actually being promoted there, and they're talking about, nuclear families and that kinds of things, and he's a Christian, and and he doesn't cuck on that. If you look anywhere else in the world, the Christians are just they've either backpedaled so much that they might as well call themselves like leftists, or they're just like corrupt scumbags. Like, if you look at the Catholics in the church, it's really bad. So I wouldn't be against it. If Russia wants to take us over, that's fine. You know, most likely, if we got into a full scale war with them, we'd lose. I mean, South America would probably team up with Russia, and we'd have to be fighting them. I mean, what is Europe going to do? Europe's going to do something. They already, they're in like a civil war. Let alone they're going to go out and fight a war too. So, Broseph, how's it going, my dude? I ate my ham and pineapple pizzas. That's what I've eaten today. What the fuck are you talking about? Russia taking over America? Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. Friday the 13th just ended. Trump fucked up. Yeah, he did. He messed up bad. He really did. But we don't know how bad it is yet. We don't know how bad it is yet, but we do know that if we keep going as a country in the same direction we're going, we know that the country is not going to be here anyways. So, I mean, that's why I wouldn't have too much of a problem if like Russia or China came over, because if you look at the big government and those kinds of things, but at the end of the day, they are promoting good things, whereas the West, they're not promoting good things. Communist. Yeah, China's communist. I don't know what Russia is exactly. But China's going to win anyways, so they're buying up everybody. They're buying up Africa right now, slowly but surely. They're buying it up. We're in debt to them, so I'm sure we're getting bought out too. So, Russia is Christian now, but still commie. I don't think they're communists. I don't know what they are, but I don't think they're communists. I mean, I know China has like the hammer and sickle. I think even North Korea has a hammer and sickle, but I mean, yeah, I don't know what they are exactly. Zachariah, what could go wrong by bombing Russians? They're gonna bomb us back, and then China's gonna jump in at some point. Russia is state capitalist like us. Different policies, spooky symbols mean nothing. Yeah, obviously it's not about the symbols, but obviously if they have the symbol, that's pretty indicative of what their beliefs are. Um, yeah, I think, I'm not really sure what they are, but yeah, I think they're capitalists and all that kind of stuff. Um, I think they'd be a little smarter than to go back to what destroyed their country. So I don't think they're communists in the classical sense, or at least what they used to be. But at the same time, I mean, with all the demographics and the things changing in Europe and the United States, I don't know how you're going to change that without, going to a war or whatever. So I'm not really trying to black pill or anything, but don't really know what's going on. Vikings death. You woken up, huh? You've woken up on the BQ, the baked question, huh? Do you support California breaking up into 3 states? Yes, I do. I support any people that want to go their own way. The only problem is, obviously, if everyone's separated into like their own Greek states sort of thing. Like Greece's main weakness was always that it was very difficult for them to unite, right? So when Persia came to their doorstep, it was very difficult for everyone to just full on unite, because everyone was always literally punching right all the time. Yeah, but if someone wants to say, hey, look, you guys do what you want, we're not going to, whatever, but we're going to do our own thing over here, I'm totally in favor of that. That's what the founders did. David, did Trump lose his base? We'll have to see. He's dropping bombs. He did it before. He didn't lose his base. If he puts soldiers down, goes full into World War III, I'm sure he's going to lose his base. Yeah, if he goes into full World War III, yeah, he'll lose his base. I don't know. Maybe if there's some other person that decides, like, hey, guys, like, Trump has been compromised, but I won't. I'm going to run 2020. Then, yeah, maybe Trump is done, but we'll see. Look at Broseph. I have to say, you and your dudes, man. You and your dudes, you guys are. I had to say, Fuentes has turned into. I think Fuentes has turned into Bill Mitchell now. I've noticed. He's very much. He even like tagged him and was like, "You got to bring me on." So I think he's very much going the Bill Mitchell path on the Trump cheerleading here. Because I was doing the Trump cheerleading the first bombing in Syria. I was doing it. I was like, oh, if you're going to bail on him on one thing, then you're not really a Trump supporter. But this time, and this bombing, no. Haha, yes, Fuentes is Bill Mitchell, 100%. I think so. The first time in Syria, it was a show of force. Yeah, that's true. I did support it, though. He says, fuck Trump. I don't know about that. If you guys want to send me something of him saying it, then I'll say it, but Trump bombed away our border security funding. I don't know. It seems like we have money. We always have the money for the military, but we don't have the money for the bridges. We don't have money. We got bridges falling down. We got caravans of people trying to invade our country. We have like, it's a misdemeanor to purposely give someone HIV in California. It's a fucking clown world, man. It's a clown world. I mean, look at Europe is even worse, You go to jail if you have a fully automatic spoon, You could build walls for other countries, but we can't build one for ourselves. I don't know. It's a very clown world. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. I mean, look at that bridge collapsed the other day. Collapsed and like a dozen people died. And not only was it because maybe the infrastructure bad, but it was also because it was affirmative action workers. You have a bunch of like women in there. It was all women. A building. It was like, oh look, it's all women. You see, oh look, they could do anything a man could do. And then the bridge collapses because it wasn't done right. Because I'm sure these women weren't qualified to actually be building this, but they wanted to give someone a chance, so the whole fucking thing collapsed and a dozen people died. But who cares about that, right? If it was like a dozen black people that got crushed in it, then yeah, they'd probably be talking about it. Actually, I don't even think they would, because it hurts the feminists, right? And so they wouldn't do it. That'd be interesting, though, wouldn't it? I mean, look, guys, we have that story. We have that story of those lesbians, and they adopted, what was it, like 8 black kids or Africans? I don't even know what they were. And they found out that one woman got drunk, and one kid and the other woman were, they took a bunch of Benadryl, and they went flying off the cliff, and everyone died. Like, all 8 black kids died. The whole family died. So both the white lesbians and all the black kids all went bouncing off the rocks. And you don't hear anyone say anything about that, which is interesting because, You have blacks basically ripping down towns because you got like a criminal black person rightfully got killed by a cop. But when two white lesbians get drunk and fly off a cliff with 8 black kids and they go bouncing off the rocks to death, you don't hear anyone talk about it because that would hurt. I guarantee you, those women, they look like Hillary Clinton supporters and they're LGBT and they were adopting blacks. Like all of that is typical like Hillary Clinton supporter shit. And feminists and all of that. And because it doesn't fit the agenda, they don't talk about it, They don't talk about it. But if it's a black guy and he's running around pointing pipes at people, like going like that, and then he does it to the wrong person. He does it to a cop, and the cop pulls out a gun and shoots him in the head. Let's burn down the whole town, right? You got the mass migration into Europe, and then you also got black gangs going around killing each other. You just got war zones. You got fucking war zones. You got people that are so fucking cucked that they know that there's pedophile rings going on, but because the people doing it are fucking brown, they're afraid of being called racist, so they'll let little girls get raped. I mean, this is such a fucking clown world we live in. Like, if some bombs start getting dropped, like, maybe it'll wake people up, Maybe it'll wake people up. Maybe that's what we need, right? Maybe we need a war. Maybe we need to throw some of these cucks out there and they can see what life really is. When they come back, maybe they'll be changed, man. I'm not for it, but I'm trying to find some positives in it. Have you seen Russia Insight YouTube channel? No, I haven't. I try to I try to read the Russian Insider whenever possible. It's pretty interesting. I met these 2 Russians the other day at a party too. Those guys were really cool. They were just completely red-pilled on immigration, things like that. Of course, if I was talking to French or French, Germans, Swedes, whole different conversation. That's why I always say if you guys want an ethno state, go to Russia, because they have the majority there, and also they're not bringing in mass amounts of people that are going to replace them either. So, so like America and some parts of Europe are everyone's gonna be replaced, but in other areas not so much. Yo, David, watch this. YouTube saying fuck Trump going nuts. So Vikings death. If you are in the Discord, just post that in the white elephants. Tag me in there, and then I'll watch it. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I just know that hopefully we don't go to full-scale war with them. And hopefully we can go back to focusing on America and fixing our many problems, because we have many, many problems going on. And us adding a war on top of all those problems would probably be the death of this country, because we're already in debt. We're having all these demographic problems. Then you want to add a war onto it, that would just get more of our people killed. And I guarantee you, all the scumbag motherfuckers, the people with pink hair, the MS-13s, the people rioting, ripping down cities, all those people, none of them are going to grab a gun and go out and kill some Russians and Syrians. They're not going to do it. They're going to stay here with the women, and then all the good guys are going to go out there and get killed for what? And come back. They're going to come back here one arm, one leg to see a country being taken over, and it's not gonna be good. I don't mean to blackpill or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, if we add a war on top of what's going on right now and the conflicts going on just domestically, it's gonna because it's already bad. It's not hugely bad just yet. Maybe in 10 years there'll be groups at each other's throat and all of that, but at the moment it's it's still very quiet. It's mainly left versus right, more so than like demographic wars. You are very astute. What does that mean? Oh, I'm getting tired, guys. Yeah, guys. I mean, that's all I got, really. If you guys have any more questions, I'll go over it real quick. But I want to say thank you to anyone that super chatted. It means a lot when you guys drop something and it says it. And I would have done the show no matter what, but it is nice to see some contributions from time to time. If you guys haven't, I don't think there's any mods in here. I think all the mods are pretty pissed and they're talking in the Discords right now. But if there's any mods in here, if you want to drop the link so that you guys can come join the Discord and then we could continue the chat. No Lives Matter. If you want to post, I should make you a mod actually. If you want to post the link for anyone that wants to join, you guys can join the Discord and we can continue the chats on World War III, that kinds of stuff. Just two things I want to bring up real quick. One, I obviously have a new, start screen. I figured out how to get to work, the whole thing. David, I've donated about $200 to you, and then Red Elephants, love your work. Thank you, Showers and Dust. I appreciate the money. I appreciate the shekels. I appreciate your hard work put into value. It means a lot. But yeah, I got got a lot of good stuff going on. I also wanted to tell you guys that tomorrow I'm going to try to do an IRL stream. I don't think there's any protests or anything going on, so I'll just do a topic stream. Planning to go probably back to the same place I was at last time, and then I can go talk to people about the war. I think that's the best thing I should do. I should just go around and ask people what their thoughts on the war is. So that's what I'm probably going to do again. Find Omar's box. Those were the days, weren't they? A little bit easier times. I could just walk around and have silly streams. But now it's getting a little bit more serious now, right? The Q drops were so positive this week. Yeah, I mean, most of the stuff that has usually been edgy is kind of normal now. Maybe it's because of the YouTube discussions that it's basically normal. I don't know. Yeah, guys, tomorrow I'm going to go around. The topic is, are you pro-war, anti-war? I'm going to go to the same beach area I was at last time. Please share, guys. Please tell people. We're doing an IRL stream tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure the time, stuff like that. I'm going to obviously try to do it early. For me, it'll probably be around noon to 2 o'clock, and I'll try to stream 3-4 hours. Yeah, so we're going to ask people whether or not they're pro-war, anti-war, what their thoughts are. Hopefully, I can get someone to, come hang out with me, but if I can't, it'll just be me out there. It'll just be me talking to some people. I'll post a tripod, wing people over, see what they have to say about stuff. Yeah, tomorrow should be a good stream. Yeah, it should be a good one. So that's why I really want to make you guys know, join the Discord so you guys can get hit with the announcements, get hit with the links, and then you guys can drop it in Facebook. Tomorrow's a big one. Usually I don't really tell you guys to share it that much because like these little shows, I like having a small crowd of people where we could have discussions. If I had like 1,000 people in here, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Trump sells my vote 2020. Well, we'll see who's running, but yeah, I mean, if it was Hillary, we'd already be at war. So we have to support Trump, whether we like it or not. You should get a handheld microphone. I do have one, but the problem is my phone dies pretty quick, and then I have to attach the battery, and my phone only has one input cord, so that's the main problem. I don't know, maybe I could get like a wireless one somehow, but it seems kind of difficult. That's something I could look into, I suppose. But yeah, tomorrow I'm going to go out. We're going to ask people if they're pro-war, anti-war, that kind of thing. The microphone is an awesome idea. Yeah, I have one, but here, maybe I could. Let me see if I even have it on me. I have this right here, but it has like this kind of connection, and my phone only takes in it's an iPhone, so I have this like little white cord that I can plug into this, and then plug that into my little cord. But even then, my phone dies pretty quick. Bluetooth or something, you can still use the charging port. Yeah, I guess if I get a microphone and that gets Bluetooth somehow, I don't know. I'm not much of a tech person, so I do have one. I'll try to use it tomorrow, but once my phone starts dying, I'm gonna have to switch to the battery, and then we'll have to use the microphone on my phone. People would respect you more with a microphone. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so guys, tell your buddies, tell your friends. If you're in Discord, let everyone know that tomorrow I'm going to go around and I'm going to ask people whether they're anti-war or they're pro-war with Russia or Syria and that kind of thing. Until then, I'm pretty tired. It's almost been 2 hours. If you can interview people, then show them evidence of faking. Well, I mean, tomorrow I'm not going to try to for instance, I'm not going to try to get them to be anti-Israel or anything like that. I'm just going to ask them general questions. I'm going to say would you want war with Russia? And then I'll say, look, the first bomb, they had no evidence of it. General Mattis, even admitted that there still has not been any evidence found of anything happening. David put InfoWars on bottom of the mic. Oh my God. Do you know how bad Millie Weaver and Owen Schroyer get treated because they're with InfoWars? It's crazy. I mean, if they want to give me a job, I wouldn't say no, but at the same time, it's it's you have to get through all that bullshit of, oh, you're with InfoWars, that means you believe X, Y, and Z, and then you gotta get through all that bullshit just before you can even have a discussion with them. So it's kind of why it's great that no one really knows about the red elephants very much, because I don't have to wade through too much. Yeah, but I want to say thank you guys to the ones who donated. I really appreciate it. And tomorrow we're going to do that live stream. I'm going to go out there. Hopefully I can get a buddy with me. If Zachariah's in here, and if you want to hang out tomorrow, go do another interview thing, you're welcome to come. But let's see what happens. Let's see what the normies think. Let's see what the beach folk think of a war and all of that kinds of stuff. So we're going to do that tomorrow. For me, living in California, it's going to be around 12 to 2. I like giving myself some wiggle room. It seems better that way. Make me a mod before you leave. I'll make you a mod tomorrow when I'm on my phone, because I'm not on my phone. So I would have to get on my phone to make you a mod, I believe. But let me see. Maybe I could do it right now. Let me check. Okay. Oh, okay. You can do it right here. All right. So we're gonna do the you have been knighted, and now that you've been knighted, you are a mod. That's how we do it. All right, guys. So we modded No Lives Matter. He's been given the power. Thank you to the people that have donated. Get the word out about tomorrow. I'm gonna go out and do some IRL stuff. We're gonna go talk to some people. Join the Discord. Join the Discord, guys, and don't flag me, bro. All right, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, stay white, everybody.